Bob Nagy back, AB5N, with another radio review. What else? Radioddity sent me their new QT-80 10-meter plus mobile rig for evaluation and review. So it is a replacement for the QT-60. Well, it's offered at the same time as the QT-60. It's $50 more, but it has more features and it has a little bit more power, 60 watts to 80 watts. We are going to go into a little more depth than maybe a lot of the quick reviews you've seen on this out there, because there's a bunch of them all of a sudden. I'm going to really try to focus in on what you really need to know if you're going to make a decision to buy this radio. So let's take a look at it. The front panel on the QT-80 is pretty darn attractive. I'd say better than the QT-60 in my book. More analog controls on the left, and all of the buttons are really self-explanatory and about where you expect them to be. The main improvements we're looking at on the QT-80 is, number one, you do have access to 15 meters. I'm incrementing through the different bands here, and you can see we go all the way from 15 meters, 12 meters, 10 meters, there's 15, and you have several different selections. You can exclude as many of these letter bank selections as you'd like, so I've taken out some of the CB channels. The next thing you're going to notice is that we have CW mode here. Now you do have to add a connector you can put into the bottom of the microphone over here for your key. I may come up with a little better solution for that, so it's sort of a add-on feature. The other thing we have is mic gain control. So if I hit the function for about a few seconds there, scan around over here, we should come up with microphone gain. And we can select between dynamic mic and electric condenser mic there. There's the microphone gain. To select a menu item to adjust, we push in the main VFO knob and then we adjust. And then we're out. One of the other things we've got is a choice between 3 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz transmit bandwidth, which is totally unique on a radio like this. I'm going to go up here, and it's listed under an odd selection. It's called tone, and it's either 3K, which is called low, or 4K. Also, of course, we've got 80 watts of power over here, and that's a good thing, and we have a lot more versatility inside of the menuing system. Now, I will say that on 15 meters, it seems like the receiver sensitivity is a bit less. Although, when I turn the RF gain all the way up, I do see one of the S meter bars hitting, which may indicate that we're actually at the noise floor, but the band seems very quiet. But when I tune over to the FT8, looks like normal levels to me, so we're going to try to make some contacts. Of course, we're going to check, and I will show you that transmit power is also reduced on 15 meters. Now today I don't have any grinding noises that we can take out with a noise blanker, but I can tell you that it is at least as effective as most of the typical noise blankers out there. And as well, when you turn it on, you can tell that there's a little bit more bleed through from side frequency noise. Like CB is full of signals right now, so as soon as I kick it in, you can tell the noise level comes up a little bit. See that indicator on the top right there? Well, it's about what you can expect, but it was very effective against standard type of noise, and it didn't seem to introduce much distortion into the received signal when I was using it. The digital noise reduction I'm finding to be quite effective, and its level or intensity is adjustable inside of the main menus. Let's take a little listen here. I think somebody's operating POTA on 10.
Kilo Charlie 1, November Delta Quebec, you're 3-3. Where are you located?
You can see the RNR over there. That's the digital noise reduction.
3-3 to Massachusetts. I appreciate you hunting. 7-3, have a beautiful day there in Massachusetts. Thank you so much. QRZ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. Kilo 6 Yankee Lima at US-5634. CQ POTA, CQ Parks on the air.
Now, yeah, we've got a little bit of that watery sound, but that's typical of DNR. It works pretty darn well.
Kilo 6 Yankee Lima at US-5634. CQ POTA, CQ Parks on the air.
Now, your XIT is adjustable for being RIT, XIT, so you can do the receive only, or you can do receive and transmit. And you can set it for 5 kilohertz or 500 hertz in the menuing system. Thus, I've set my channels up here to be 10 kilohertz apart, and I can just go ahead and rotate the RIT over here, which is, well, always on. The interesting thing is that at the very top position with the white marker pointing up at the top, that's its sort of off position, and there's a nice little deadband area right there when you get to the top. So you get anywhere near the top of that adjustment, and you're at the 0 point, and then you just take it to the right or left.
Nice 5-7 here into the park, Roger.
Another keen feature of the QT-80 is auto squelch, and that threshold is also adjustable inside of the main menuing system. I'm going to turn the volume up and show you how when you adjust the squelch, it gives you the amount of squelch, okay, but when you rotate it all the way counterclockwise fully, it goes into auto squelch, so no squelch is right before the fully counterclockwise position. There we are on auto squelch level 3. Okay, so you saw right above that was our 0 squelch, and then you bring it up for the regular linear squelch adjustment. Here's a way I like to configure this radio. It has 25 memories, just plain old memories in there, and when you hit that memory button, you go into the memories. So what I've done is I've set up the FM repeaters up here, including simplex, in the different channels. First ones I put in calling frequency for sideband, the FT8 frequency to see if the band's open, and then right away I went into the FM mode here. There's a calling frequency, and as we go up, what I did was I set several different PL tones on the same frequencies for the most common PL tones used on, say, 2960 repeaters. 6.4, there were several of the most common PL tones, 6.6 and 6.8. So if one's not working, I'll just flip to the next channel and see if that's the PL of the repeater that I'm hearing. And at the end here, I put 29.5 for a secondary simplex frequency. So it makes it really handy to run right through your 10-meter repeater frequencies. Now remember that one push of the function button puts you into fun mode there, function, and it's the secondary meanings of all these buttons on here. So you can do the secondary functions of those. Of course, it only lasts a few seconds. You got a chance to turn on the noise blanker there, turn off the noise blanker, high cut, split for your repeaters, and also, which is really sort of key in here, you have a choice of the display background color through a wide range of colors. And, where this seems a little, I don't know, gimmicky to begin with, I really prefer white or cyan. Green's pretty good too, maybe for darker environments, maybe red if you're out doing astronomy or something at night. But having that choice is nice. I'm going to leave it on cyan. The QT-80 has linear power control, which is sort of nice. Now, even though it's a 80-watt radio PEP on sideband, it goes from sort of 1 to 45. Now, when you're on FM, that's more realistic because the power is more like 40 watts-ish. And we're going to show you the different power level outputs in different modes. But I like the linear power control. And at 1, you're, putting out almost no power, but it's good for testing your signal. As well as digital noise reduction on receive, it also has a transmit noise reduction, and I think this may be sort of more like a noise canceling mic or something like that if you're operating this in a truck environment. So you might want to check that out if you have a noisy background. Because it does include CW mode now, you can actually go ahead and adjust a few of the normal CW parameters, like the CW beep, which is your CW side tone level. But the second one is the beep frequency, which is something, it's totally personally preference. Mine is 600 hertz. It comes at a much higher frequency default. So check it out and adjust your CW situation there. We will try that a little bit later and see how those features work. The radio has a thing called the public menu, and really it's just sort of a misnomer. It's the sort of quick menu of a small number of things you might use more often. You hold the VFO button in, and then you turn it like that, and you've got a few things like echo for you CBers out there. Yes, it has echo duration and length, those adjustments inside of the main menu. But you just hold this in for a little bit too long. You can do the high cut on receive. What else we have? 10 kilohertz. Roger beep, that's very important. So DTMF, the thing can transmit a sequence of DTMF tones. And so it's one of those sort of shortcut menus that you may find useful or maybe not. To alternate between your lettered sets of bands here, you just hold in the band button for a few seconds and it goes into VFO mode. Even though it says UF, they just can't make a V out of the LCD, so it says UF. Even though all of the channels in there are tunable, you can tune each one as a separate VFO, it has a separate VFO and you can go to it like that. Now we're not going to go through all of the menus. You can go ahead and download the manual online, take a look, all the menu options, but there are a ton of them here. Let's see how many total. 37, including a full reset if you should want that. But there's just a bunch of stuff in here. Some of the stuff is not documented in this quick little operation manual that comes with it, like that one right there. And you can AM NPC, I don't even know what it is, and I'll look it up in the big manual, but I tried turning it on and off. I didn't see much of a difference, but there is a ton of stuff in here, and you can really customize the radio for your operational style. Now, I've heard a few people say that they thought the positioning of the SQ239 antenna connector was a little tight back here because of this massive heatsink, which is absolutely required. Oh, look at that nasty old 259. But I didn't find it to be any problem to get the thumb in there on this knurled cover and tighten her right up, so I don't see it's an issue. The supplied condenser microphone sounds just fine, and it does have 3 buttons on top, up, down, your typical up-down frequency, and a programmable function, which is sort of keen because they give you a lot of options on that. And so just play with it and see which one you want to assign that to. Look at all these things that you can assign the programmable microphone button to. And a lot of them are very useful. One of the nice options here is where you can choose what you want the display to show on transmit. It can be nothing. It could be your SWR, which is what I like. The timer, which you can set, telling you how long you can keep the key down, or the incoming DC power supply voltage. First, let's take a look at 15-meter single sideband. I know it's going to be pretty low, but I think it is a usable level. And we're sort of in the middle band into a dummy load. The Daiwa is a tight meter. In other words, it's pretty darn accurate. And I'm going to whistle. This is a 20-watt scale. So we're looking at, popping up there, probably 20 watts PEP, something like that. Now we'll look at 15 meters with FM for a dead carrier, and we are operating at 13.8 volts. So about 43 watts dead carrier on 15. Oh heck, I'll show you a chicken band here at 29495, FM dead carrier, dummy load, 50 watts. Here we are in the SSB portion of the 10 meter band with FM carrier into a dead dummy load with just key down, also 50 watts. And here's 12 meters, dead carrier, 55 watts. Now SSB mode on 12 meters. Peaking up right up at 80 watts there. On children's band here. Oh yeah, good power, peaking up just over 80 watts. Interesting to note here that on CW, and I'm just keying it up with the microphone, on the bottom of 10 meters here, looking at about 22 watts, something like that on key down. CW on 12 meters, about 18 watts. And CW on 15 meters, also about 18 watts. Just to check AM here, we're going to check it on 10 meters. We're sitting at about 22 watts. 1, 2, with a little bit of upward modulation, which is nice. Did want to mention that the VFO knob is a detent knob, for if you're in a mobile or bouncing around there, you don't want it to move around. But it has a nice light feel to it. The QT-80's detent's a little bit stronger than this, so it's about the right amount of detent. And it does mute in between each frequency change as the internal circuitry relocks up on frequency.
Into my laptop. It lags about 2 months, so if you got the call sign upgraded or Vanity in the last couple of months it's not going to show up on my computer, but that's okay. I got all the important things, and I'll take a 5-5. Yeah, the band is really one. This is Kilo Juliet 6 Echo Romeo, California. QRZ.
KJ6ER, copy Alpha Bravo 5 November, AB5N.
Alpha Bravo 5, was it November you said?
QSL.
Roger. There you go by Bob, Rob. What's your favorite first name?
It's Bob. I'm not serious enough to be a Robert. Roger.
I know what you mean. All right, Bob. Nice to meet you out there in Hot Springs. You're in Arkansas. Hopefully you've been okay with all those storms out there in the Gulf.
The free programming software is rather rudimentary, but self-explanatory and perfectly functional. I just had no problem getting things set up over here. You've got your different banks, like I said, that are lettered. You can go through those and set the frequencies over here. They will only set up in the approximate range that they come from in the factory, so you can't just put anything in any place. There's 2 emergency channels, and I don't know why anybody uses those anyway. But you've got your options and features over here, and that's all the stuff you'd set in the menus. What's nice is you can eliminate some of the modes you don't use and turn off PA. I'm going to turn off PA over there. And then you can save this and load it back up at any time later. Here's your little public or quick menu over there, and you can set those. There really isn't any surprises here, but documentation is very good overall. Here, your Roger beat manual, you want to mess with that, right? Obviously, there is a DTMF memories in here, so you can put out sequences of DTMF tones if you needed that for getting into an all-star system or something like that, if there was such a thing on the band you're operating on. So for a freebie, absolutely great. Now what's nice is they do provide docks for getting you onto digital modes. Now there is no internal sound card or anything like that, so they're really just describing how to hook up the audio to the microphone connector, and it is a 6-pin connector, not an 8-pin, so it's a little bit odd, and hopefully we can get our hands on these things, but the audio in and out that you need is on those pins in that connector, so it shows you how to hook it up. You will need a USB audio interface dongle. Those are all over the place, and they all seem to work just fine. Tells you how to set up your menu system and what to watch out for. So, if you want to work digital on this radio, absolutely it can. The open band mod on this radio is really easy. Just unscrew the 4 screws on the speaker side of the radio. There's no sticker on there to void the warranty. You don't really have to unplug the speaker, although you could take it from the board. Now let's take a look at the little jumper. That little jumper is right in the front behind the multiple controls on the front of the radio over here, not the VFO side, the other side with the on control. And you can see it over here. It's just a little jumper. You've seen this probably in the other videos. You just pick it up, move it one to the left, and then close the radio back up. And then you go ahead and reboot the radio, but you hold in the band and memory button at the same time and turn the radio on. And you'll get a choice of ham band or HF band, and you want the HF band, you hold in the function key, boom, reboots again,
Go slowly, repeat it a couple times.
and you're in. So there you have it, the QT-80 from Radioddity. I think this radio is a valid improvement over the QT-60, and it's worth the extra $50. It's a smaller package, and it has more power, and it has more features, and it throws in operation on 15 meters. So I also think that the internal construction is a little higher quality. More of the circuitry is in shielded little boxes, which gives it more stability over time. Frequency was spot on the thing. So I think it's going to run and last for a long time and stay on frequency and give you a lot of the features that you wish you had on that QT-60. So I'd say the extra $50 is definitely worth it. So until next time, take care. Thanks for watching.